What up, everyone? Happy Thursday. It's a tremendous Thursday. Who's ready for the big dance as the Razorbacks take on Texas Tech? And Jess, I think you answered the question. Yeah, it's me. Not another meteorologist. It's me in the flesh, me, myself, and I. So here's the deal. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got a newscast coming up at 9 o'clock. But at the same time, we've got the Razorbacks tipping off at about 9:09 our time, 7:09 West Coast time, Pacific. So you know what that means. This game won't be over until after 11, which means we're on doing a Facebook Live during the game because we know people want to watch the game, including myself. We'll be doing newscasts in between, but I want to give you all the details, so then that way you don't have to wait up for a late live. And we'll do some more as we go into tomorrow. I know. Michigan, are they playing tonight? I haven't even known, honestly. I see Florida is up, which is a good thing because I've got Florida in the Final Four. I don't have them winning at all, but my bracket is in third place, and I've got all four Final Four teams that are still in there. But you know what? This isn't a basketball update. Now, Pig Trail covers that. Michigan, I thought, plays tomorrow. That's why I'm not really talking about it. But Edward, appreciate the support. Let's dive in, shall we, and look at the weather. You can see I'm kind of fired up about this, about tonight, because, man, I hope the Razorbacks pull it off. It'd be a huge, huge, huge win, and just great for the team. So I'm going to let this graphic load. We've been dry. Obviously, we've been extremely dry. In fact, the drought monitor has gotten worse. I'll show you that. But we've got some rain on the way. Not only do we have rain, we have thunderstorm potential. And not only do we have thunderstorm potential, we have severe weather potential as well. And I think that severe weather potential will be ramping up for Sunday. And it might not just be in the morning. It could be in the afternoon, early evening. So without further ado, let's do this. Here is the 7-day precipitation forecast. This has been going up and increasing each time, and I think that rain chance will looking pretty likely. So we'll talk more about the flights and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure what time you're asking about if your flight will be delayed. But here's a look at 1 to 2 inches plus. You can see that some red shaded areas are showing up, and that's a little over 2.5 as you look at the color scale up at the top. So a rainy weather pattern over the next 7 days. We have rain tomorrow. The first time we've seen widespread rain in a long time. We'll show you that on the newscast tonight, because I know that we had some measurable rain in early March, but other than that, there just really hasn't been much. And that is why you will see this right here, the drought monitor. So the latest drought monitor now has a D2 in western sections of Benton County. And yes, flash flood emergencies to the south. We'll show you that here coming up in just a bit. But there is the latest drought monitor that shows up over northwest Arkansas. And notice how the moderate drought has expanded. The D2 has been introduced today. So this is a D2 severe drought that's starting to show up. And that obviously goes into southwest Missouri. I'll move the mouse here so you can see and show you. That goes all the way to just west of Springfield and farther north, and that also includes Delaware County. Does not really include Washington County, but Washington County is now in the D1 category drought. We zoom out a little wider. The River Valley obviously not impacted, so it's not an issue. It's not even abnormally dry because they've had definitely some rain. There were some pop-up showers and storms that were earlier happening. In fact, I'll show you on the satellite radar as we take this off of here. We had some showers. They mainly remained to the north, but we did have, check this out, a little daytime heating right here that just briefly popped up a little bit of activity in Johnson County and eastern Madison County. So again, that's not what we're really talking about. Here's the heavy rain and the flash flood emergencies and all that stuff down by Brownsville. And I'm going to zoom in, and you're going to get to see that here on the screen. So flash flood, look at that. That's some pretty bad flash flooding. Now, I will say this, that the core of the heavy rain was not Corpus Christi, so it was actually a little bit farther south. So the location needed to be adjusted. But when we pop this on here, you're going to see flash flood warnings and flash flood emergencies. So I'll take the camera off the screen so you can see that. That says observed catastrophic threat. So that is a flash flood emergency. And then you'll notice several areas of observed flooding. And so if we look at the amount of rain that's fallen there, it's pretty impressive. Now, I want to know what they did with the day one outlook. See how they had that moderate up to the north? That didn't really come to fruition, but it might later on tonight. The day two kind of shifts eastward. That's the Weather Prediction Center's heavy rain threat. I want to see how much rain has fallen in that area. So we'll let this load. That's the Weather Prediction Center's. Takes forever to load. Let's look at the total precipitation here. So I'm going to move this. And yeah, woo, that's some heavy rain right there. So let's see what that report shows. Flooding. You got emergency manager reported closed road due to flooding. Let's see how much flooding that is. So if we look here and we go into the query, that's 11.9 inches. Yeah, that's pretty substantial. That's a lot of rain. That's a lot of rain. All right, let's get into our area because we only have limited time. I'm going to answer your questions. This is the rain that's coming tomorrow. Won't be until tomorrow late morning into the afternoon. There could be a little piece of energy that sparks off a few additional showers, but I think some cloud cover and rain coming our way. Temperatures will be cooler tomorrow because of the rain. Saturday should be pretty dry until Saturday night, where we could see the potential for storms. Here's a look at the 2-day forecast timeline. Yeah, we've got some rain popping up, and we actually went up to 40% during the midday hours. So there's your most likely time for rainfall. If you're wondering about timing, this is it. Late morning into the early afternoon for Friday. Saturday, we still have those rain chances kind of lingering in the morning hours, and then they drop off. And we're going to show you Sunday here in just a second, Hydra. So, but there's a look at the River Valley rain chances. And just to let you know, it does go up to 60% because we'll go back to this again, and I'll show you the most likely area for rain tomorrow will be at lunchtime in the River Valley. See how it's more focused farther south. Then as the showers move their way northward, they don't produce as much. How much rain from tomorrow? What do the models show? Well, let me show you that real quick as we check it out. This is the estimated precipitation totals from the HRRR, and these are the computer models that are showing this. And so it's not done loading. So yeah, not a lot, but definitely rain in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. All right, a lot of people asking about this weekend. So here's the severe weather threat for the weekend. Now, here's the problem is that we're still a ways out. So a lot of people asking, will flights be delayed or canceled? I don't exactly know where you're asking about that, Erica. Like I said, maybe you answered that. I will roll through the comments and see. There will probably be a little bit of light rain for that. Yep. Hisses at rain tomorrow for Bella Vista. I mean, maybe hopefully you like it because we need it. All right. So, anyways, let's show you this. And Edward, flash flooding is the number one killer of severe thunderstorm phenomena. So, just to let you know. All right. Now, this is what we've got for our severe weather risk. You will see here that Sunday morning into the afternoon. This is a little bit different than what it earlier was. Keep in mind this risk has been trending westward. This is a very, very large area, but that does not mean that this entire area is going to see severe storms. It just tells you that the ingredients are there for severe weather potential. Now, the timing and the placement of these storms, that needs to be continued to be ironed out, which is why we can't give you exact details. But notice that risk is shifting westward. So we'll take a look at some parameters, but I got to tell you this, that I think if storms wait until the early afternoon, we've got some problems because we do have a lot of instability. So it doesn't matter if the storms are showing up on the models because we know the energy will be stronger than expected. It's just always a given. But watch what happens on the European model. Now, keep in mind, some of the long-range models aren't as fine detailed and high resolution. And remember that on Pi Day on March 14th, a couple of days before that event, do you remember the models weren't showing any storms at all? I mean, there were times where they weren't showing anything. So you can't just look at this and say, oh, there's no rain at noon on Sunday, so we're not expecting storms until the early afternoon. No, no. Models won't get this perfect. There's going to be all sorts of little subtle energy. But what it does show is the trends are slower with this system. And you can see how those storms are lingering through about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's when the daytime heating is the most. That's when, as Josh Rugger would say, the atmosphere is cooking. And that's going to allow for a lot of instability, as I will show you. Notice how the storms could stick around as we go into our Sunday night. And then Monday morning, the storms will be long gone. However, we're not done with the severe weather potential because we got another big system that's coming in. So first of all, I want to show you that there's the rain that's coming in for tomorrow. It's mainly focused to the south. It's a very large system, but we don't have a lot of ingredients for severe weather. Now, here's all these little subtle pieces of energy. First of all, there's not a true focus for thunderstorms Saturday evening. The ingredients will be pretty favorable for severe weather, but there's questions as to how much energy will actually develop storms. So therefore, models are probably not going to handle this perfectly. Me personally, you look at this, you see some energy rolling in. That could be more than what's expected, which would lead to thunderstorms popping up over northeast Oklahoma. I personally think, and this is my opinion, is that we'll see some thunderstorms late Saturday night. We're talking after midnight. They might barely clip northwest Arkansas, but most of it will be in southwest Missouri. Those will have the potential to produce some pretty sizable hail, as well as all hazards for severe weather. Tornadoes will be possible in northeast Oklahoma if, and this is a big if, a storm even develops, because there's that chance that the cap holds, preventing thunderstorm development. Now, as you can see, as we get into Sunday, we've got all sorts of energy, all those little spins in the atmosphere, all these little, these little areas of color right here. You can see the weaker vorticity is yellow. The stronger vorticity gets into the whites. The amount of spin means the greater the lift. So you have some energy, and remember, the thunderstorms develop out ahead of it. This is the energy that's coming in. That's why Saturday, I don't think we have a whole lot. The cap will hold. There may be an isolated storm, but for the most part, I don't think we see a whole lot. But it's Sunday. This is the energy that is a little more concerning. And this is Sunday late morning into the afternoon. Now, there's still a lot of uncertainty exactly what's going to happen, but the storm potential definitely looks very real. And I'll show you the amount of instability that we have. But this is a pretty impressive system, and there's other ingredients that are in place that we will really need to watch. Notice as we go into our Wednesday, storm potential also will continue. A very impressive system that has a lot of energy, and you can see all of that energy moving in. So this is an active weather pattern. There will be probably another widespread severe weather potential on Wednesday. And then more energy swings in. This is an active pattern. So we know southwest flow. Oh, no, it's going to be active. Oh, no, it's southwest flow. In fact, we look at the models. They don't show a whole lot happening there. But then you'll see storms ramping up Wednesday late morning into the afternoon. These will probably be isolated supercells because remember, the models aren't high enough resolution where you see all those details of isolated storms. Well, I will get into, just to let you know, Dakota, we're going to look at the 0ZH in just a second. But there's a look at all of that thunderstorm activity, and then look at what happens on Thursday. More rain continues to pop up. So we've got storm potential, and look, even more rain, and then finally more rain. So even though our drought conditions got worse, I think we're about to see a big pattern change. People have been praying for rain. They've been asking the dear Lord for rain. We've got some coming our way. No, Brandon. No, not trying to. No. I see your comment. You have to stop comparing events. Please get out of the habit of doing that. And I'll tell you why. because a storm could look exactly the same. It could have the same ingredients, it could have the same analogs, it could look exactly the same, but that does not guarantee the same result. And I think people get all caught up in this because of what we call the analogs. So the analogs is basically the computer saying, you know what, this system is located here. It had this much energy. It had this deep of, the heights were this low. All these things are showing up, and it can compare and contrast. But what it can't do is look at all the fine scale details that could completely throw something off because the weather, let's just say it's a finicky animal. So we have to stop comparing events. So no, I don't think this looks like anything even close to the Memorial Day weekend. And a lot of people are doing this. And the reason they do compare events is because it gains attention. And that's what people do. And then they draw huge arrows on there and all that stuff. And it's just I'm not even going into that. But let's take a look at this. This is the thunderstorm fuel that's available. Let's go back in time and show you and step through this. So we'll look at some parameters as well. But here's a look at Friday. Notice how there's not a whole lot of instability. So thunderstorms probably aren't going to happen. There could be an isolated stray storm, but we're looking at better storm chances as we go into our Saturday night and Sunday. Because why? That's when the fuel starts coming back. But remember, just because there's fuel doesn't mean there will be thunderstorms. Now, I also believe the dry line will be way west of us. So with the dry line remaining in western Oklahoma, there won't be enough forcing in our area to see thunderstorms. So I think Oklahoma will see severe weather. I don't necessarily believe it's going to be here. But watch what happens over time. The low pressure system develops. This, by the way, is called a triple point because you're going to have a low pressure system. You're going to have most likely a bulging dry line. You're going to have a cold front that's to the west of that. And then you might even have probably a warm front that's going to look like this. And the triple point right here is where you have the greatest severe weather potential. And guess what? That is going to make its way eastward. As that low pressure system moves eastward, the triple point advances. And then you will see by Sunday afternoon, that instability clears out. Well, that's because the front comes through. That's because the moisture moves out. But watch this. The Gulf is loaded with moisture, and that comes roaring back as we go into our Wednesday. Now, here's the thing. You looked at the European. Let's look at the GFS, and I'll show you a completely different. You can turn on the lights, by the way. We'll show you a completely different solution for the GFS. First of all, it shows the system coming in Saturday. Too much energy for the models to perfectly get this. And by the way, you did not upset me. I'm not upset at all. I'm just saying you have to just stop getting into the habit of comparing and contrasting events. We can look at similarities, but that doesn't mean that the outcome will be the same. Now, here's Wednesday. Okay, so the Wednesday system now is different than what the 12Z run has. This is the 18Z run, and before it didn't even have a low pressure system, but now it does. So I think we will see thunderstorms. Let's look at the GFS. So we looked at the GFS vorticity. Now we're going to look at the GFS precipitation. First of all, Saturday. Let this load up. I think a few isolated storms will be possible. Nothing super major or intense. But Saturday night, that's where the storms are starting to ramp up. And then notice this probably will kick it east too fast, I think. Yep, it does. The GFS is notorious for too fast. Then, as we go into our Wednesday, watch what happens here. More thunderstorms. That's a big low pressure system. That's a dry line that comes through. And so, hey, severe weather is here, folks. It's severe weather season. There is no doubt about that. Let me show you a few parameters. Before I do that, I do want to show you the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh model. And that's going to be for our Saturday night into Sunday. I haven't even looked at this. This is the newest one. Let's see what we got. And I'm going to do a wide view too. So here's Friday morning, rain. Afternoon, notice it's not really stormy because the instability is lacking. Now here's that dry line out to the west. You can see it. And look, it just really doesn't develop a whole lot until Saturday evening. And I think that's as far out as it goes. So that doesn't look super impressive at all. But Saturday night, that's when the energy moves in. So let's look at one more thing, and then we're going to look at a couple parameters. Let's look at the NAM. I'm not off the top, correct? All right. By the way, look at this. Look at the drip that Josh is wearing. You got to see it. All right. So anyways, here's Friday. There's Saturday. Not a whole lot. And here's Sunday. And then the model stops. Now, that's just the 3 kilometer. All right, Josh, we got to give recognition to this suit here. As the Hogs are dancing. Look at this bit. Look at this bad boy right here. What's up, Josh?
Hey, what's up? Hey. Texas Tech, Louisiana Tech, Georgia Tech. Doesn't matter.
Hogs by 90.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
And who else? Lake is a bye. I like it. We got to come up with a different one for the newscast.
We'll come up with a different one.
All right. How about Raiders? Let's think of something that rhymes with Raiders. Raiders, haters, traitors.
Haters.
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate.
Yep. I like it. All right, real quick, the NAM 12 kilometer will go out far enough. Throw in the IFB here real quick. So here's a look at the NAM 12 kilometer, or this is really actually the 20 kilometer. And you're going to notice, see that? There's that isolated storm activity on Saturday night into Sunday, but then watch this Sunday afternoon, doesn't show anything. And you know why? Because it doesn't see all that energy moving in. So one last look at the SIG-TOR parameter. And that will be the end of this Facebook Live, and we'll do another one tomorrow. We won't do one tonight because people will be watching the Razorbacks, and it'll be a very late one. But look, there's Saturday night into Sunday morning where that tornado potential ramps up, and then it shifts east pretty quick. So I think the majority of this activity will be Southwest Missouri, Northeast Oklahoma. But remember, the models they're not handling everything perfectly. So look who also walked in. It's Mr. Gilday.
Just got back. Had to get my nutrition.
Oh, yeah.
After
Red meat.
Doing the 7.
Red meat and Ezekiel bread. I know it, man. I know it. I know what he's doing. Hey, we're about to do Fox 24 News at 9. Woo pig, go Hogs. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.